So this has been kind of in my mind for quite a while, and I do think I need to sit there and, talk about this topic. And now I definitely do have to really say right now is that here's the thing is that, especially in a lot of communities, people like to use criticism as an excuse shield. I don't know or understand why people nowadays like to use it, but they like to use criticism as an excuse shield. Sometimes they use it, most times they use it for the wrong reasons. I mean, this is not, me trying to say, I can't take criticism. I could take criticism as long as it's respectful criticism, not, a bashing or anything. Like, sometimes in communities, you might get people saying, oh, your content sucks because of this or whatever. I mean, if the people are trying to get you to improve your content, they have to sit there and, use it in a respectful way to make sure that it doesn't come out as you using it as an excuse shield. Unfortunately, a lot of the times, I have been criticized. Some of it was, solely for used as an excuse shield. Other times, it's just, was just some helpful tips. I mean, I get criticized on some of my videos because some people say, I talk too fast or I can't pronounce words right. It's been struggling. Like, there's valid reasons why I try to improve as much as I can, and reason why, the things are the way they are with me, that kind of thing. But the thing I really do have to say is that people will go out of their way and use criticism as an excuse shield for wrong reasons. It obviously just baffles me knowing that there are people that obviously don't seem to give a shit. They're sitting there and, using criticism as an excuse shield just because they think, that they're better than them. Like, I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't really get why people would sit there and use criticism as an excuse shield, but a grand majority of people, I'm saying right now that there are people in the world that would sit there and pretty much criticize others simply for whatever they're doing and it's a flaw. I mean, I'm gonna sit here and say right now, we're all not perfect. We all do have our own flaws in our own way, but we can strive to, figure out what we need to do to try and improve ourselves. That's literally what I'm trying to get at. But with people nowadays, they're not really listening to people saying that they're using criticism for the wrong reasons. And when people call others out for it, they sometimes get butthurt over it. And that is a big problem because people like to use criticism as an excuse shield for the wrong reasons. And they obviously just don't care what the other person has to say. It's just really unfortunate that I'm seeing, people using criticism as an excuse shield and then the other people, call them out for it and then they end up either blocking the person or they end up getting total ass hurt. And yeah, I mean, sometimes wars break out between two or more communities. And that's a really unfortunate thing that I'm seeing almost every day. Like, I mean, in different videos and different people and stuff like that. But here's what you should do. What you should do is you should not use your criticism as an excuse shield because that can sometimes can due time spark up any drama if you're sitting there and using your criticism as an excuse shield. Then people are just going to have wars with you and it's just going to be a never ending story. That's literally all I can summon it up with if you use criticism the wrong way. If you use criticism in a respectful way and, maybe give people tips and like on how they can improve, their struggles and stuff like that. That's why when it came to my, reviews for, movies and when I review, stories, for example, I use my criticism in the most respectful manner. So then that way I can get out get out of my way and, say my honest opinions and stuff, and not sit there and use it as an excuse shield. That's literally all I'm trying to get at. But yet people are sensitive to criticism, and that's the main issue. Is like nowadays people are so sensitive to criticism, they would go out of their way and just defend themselves or deny criticism, and sometimes they'll block people. I mean, I've done that, but if it's respectful criticism I'm getting from people, then that's an exception I can make, that I'll accept criticism. But if it's used as an excuse shield, then yeah, that's where I do have a problem, because I don't really like the fact that using people use criticism as an excuse shield, and it doesn't really help the matters, if that makes total sense. But I do have to say, I do understand, where people are coming from, saying, that they have a problem with something, in my videos, or, just in general. I can understand that, because, I've gotten feedback. But, when I come to, criticizing something, I'm sitting here and being as respectful as I can be, and in a more calm, civil manner, on how the person can improve his or her story, or, how the movie can improve, stuff like that. So you really shouldn't use criticism as an excuse shield, because it just makes you scummy on your part. I'm not saying that that's exactly the case for everybody, because everyone gives criticism differently from their perspectives. Like, everyone has different perspectives, so I'm not going to really argue on that. But anyway, I personally do have to say, when it comes to communities and that they criticize you for something, if they criticize you for something, look back at what the errors are that you are having, and what you can do to try and improve. That's my best advice: is review the flaw that you have, and then try and see if you could figure out a way to, fix the issue. That's mainly my best advice I can give to anybody who is, having issues or struggling to understand something. But yeah, my best advice is never use criticism as an excuse shield. If you're going to use criticism to criticize someone, you need to use it in a respectful way. However, I understand there's some people that can't handle criticism, but that is obviously the case for some people. There's some people who are sensitive to criticism in that. I mean, yeah, I will say, I'm not the one to judge people on how they make their videos or anything like that. I just mainly just say, that their videos are cool and that. And, everybody makes their content differently. Not everyone's content is going to be the same. If everybody's content is the exact same, then the whole world would be boring, and YouTube would be boring. So that's why we have to sit there and, come up with, new stuff, and trying to find something, original as much, That's pretty much all I really have to say. I just wanted to get this video out of the way, because I do want to put out an advice: is if you don't have something that is nice towards criticizing someone's content or whatever, then don't bother posting it on anywhere. That's one of the other advices I can honestly give. But I mean, there are times where we have to be harsh with our criticism. That is true. But if you're going to be harsh with your criticism, use it in a respectful manner as much as you can. That's literally all you really have to do. But if you don't have any nice criticism to give to somebody, then don't bother saying it to them, or post it anywhere. Don't even bother. But anyway, I guess with that being said, what did you guys think? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm Shadow the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you're new to my channel, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, follow me on Blue Sky, follow me on Twitter, follow me on DeviantArt, and follow me on my backup channel known as Miss Dark Shigo, as links to those will be in the About page section. As always, I'll catch you all next time. Peace out, and like always, roll the outro because I'm out.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.